Okay, first off, I don't know where the Impact ratings are for last week. They usually come out by Friday, but it's Sunday night, and as of this recording, we still haven't gotten them. Nevertheless, I did my review of Impact, and as soon as the ratings come out, I will add them to the review and post it. But tonight I wanted to talk about something else. I did a video recently where I commented on some of the things that went down at the Royal Rumble last week. And this video ended up causing kind of a stir because, in the short time that I've been on YouTube making these videos, I've never had one that got so many views and so many responses in such a short period of time. And judging from the comments that I've been getting, it seems like people either think I'm right on the money or they think I'm full of crap. So I just wanted to take some time tonight and clear up some of the controversy and sort of clarify my position on the John Cena Jeff Hardy situation. And I'm going to start by talking about Randy Orton. A couple of years ago, Randy Orton was right on the cusp of becoming a main event star. Evolution hadn't broken up yet, and Orton had sort of found himself in the best position he could possibly be in. He'd done the one thing that Triple H had not been able to do. He defeated Chris Benoit for the World Heavyweight title. Now, he had a ton of momentum behind him. A ton of momentum. And he was right on the edge, right at the brink of breaking through that glass ceiling and cementing his spot at the top of the card. All he needed was that one last big win to prove that the win over Benoit wasn't a fluke. And we all know who this win should be over, too, because it was pretty clear what was about to happen. Predictably, Evolution turned on Orton, setting up a feud with Triple H. And everybody knew that if Orton could then beat Triple H and retain his title, that he was the real deal. But instead, the creative team had Orton drop the belt to Triple H almost immediately. And, Orton was exposed pretty much as a fluke champion. He lost all his momentum, and he went back to the mid-card for 2 years. And to this day, his character has never really regained the credibility that he had after beating Chris Benoit. Yeah, he's the champion again now, but that doesn't make him credible. He didn't beat Cena for the title. Cena was stripped of it after he got injured. And then, Orton won the belt from Triple H after Triple H was exhausted from already having wrestled 2 matches in the same night, the first of which when he beat Orton to win the title in the first place. Now, how does this relate to Jeff Hardy, you ask? Well, it relates to Jeff Hardy because coming into the Royal Rumble, Jeff was basically in the same position that Randy Orton had been after he beat Benoit. He was the right guy, in the right place, at the right time, with the right push and the right storyline. And he was actually even better off than Randy had been because while Orton had been getting sort of a mixed reaction from the crowd, the fans weren't really sure whether to cheer or boo him at that time, Jeff had all the fans behind him. When he came out to the arena, that place erupted. And he was really in the perfect position, just like Randy Orton had been, to break through that glass ceiling and really cement his place in that upper echelon of stars. Now, contrary to what some of you may think, I've never actually been that big a fan of Jeff Hardy. I've always thought the guy was kind of overrated personally. Yes, he can be very exciting to watch. Yes, he hits amazing high spots. But take those high spots away from him, and what has he got? Not that much. And, I think the guy's a two-dimensional high spot monkey, and I always have. I didn't think there was much chance of him beating Orton for the title. I thought it was certainly possible, but it was unlikely. But that's not really the point. The point is that regardless of what my opinion is, Jeff had all the fans behind him. His crowd pops had never been louder, his momentum and his credibility had never been stronger, and if ever there was a time to put the world title on Jeff, it was at the Royal Rumble, because Jeff was never going to be hotter than he was at that moment. And for the first time in quite a while, WWE had a real opportunity to create a new top star, a new main eventer that would be credible, that the fans would take seriously in the spot in the way that they don't take Randy Orton seriously. But for whatever reason, be it backstage politics or whatever, it didn't turn out that way. Instead of taking this opportunity and running with it, the creative team decided to Orton Jeff Hardy. They de-pushed him at that critical moment by having him lose his match at the Rumble in a manner that a lot of people said was kind of lackluster. And just like when Randy Orton was booked to drop the title at Triple H a couple years ago, Jeff's momentum came to a screeching halt. And faster than you can say RKO, his credibility vanished, and now he's right back to where he started. And you can see it with your own two eyes. I mean, the very next night on Raw, Jeff's crowd pops were noticeably softer than they had been in the weeks leading up to the Rumble. Because now, thanks to the loss to Orton, at that make or break moment, the fans don't see Jeff as a top guy. They don't. They see him as a guy who always comes really, really close to touching that brass ring, but can never quite grab a hold of it. You know, and even if he wins the Elimination Chamber match and goes on to win the title at the Rumble at Mania, which I don't think will happen in the first place, but even if it does, it'll never have the same effect as it would have had if he had won the belt at the Rumble. He'll just end up looking like Randy Orton does now, as a fluke champion who got lucky. Now, as for John Cena, I never said that John Cena was not a star. Okay, clearly he is a huge star. He's incredibly charismatic, he cuts great promos, he works hard, and yet for some reason, the audience is not accepting him. And when you're pushing a guy like that as your top guy, as your #1 star, and part of the audience cheers him, but a much louder, much more vocal section of the audience boo the living piss out of the guy, that is a sign that something about the way he's being pushed, something about the way his character is being portrayed is not working the way it should. You know, you don't see Jeff Hardy getting a polarizing response from the crowd. I mean, he may have his critics, of which I am one, but the fans absolutely love the guy. You know, John Cena hasn't gotten that kind of crowd reaction in a long time. And people started to really get behind Cena back when he was that badass chain gang dude who destroyed his opponents on the mic, used dirty tactics to win his matches, and didn't care about sucking up to anybody. But then something strange happened. Cena's character began to change from the badass anti-hero into the good guy Boy Scout merchandise whore that we have today. Now, all the scathing insults are gone, and in their place is one promo after another of, I respect you, I respect you, I respect you, I respect my opponent, I respect the world title, I respect this, that, and the other guy. You know, the street fighting and dirty tactics are all gone. And now every single Cena match has become all about him fighting the good fight and overcoming the odds again and again and again and again. And because of these changes, something like 60 to 70% of the fans who used to cheer for Cena now hate his guts. Now, I am not against Cena having a big spot on the show. Far from it. But clearly the changes that have been made to his character, to the way he's been booked in matches, is turning people off. And if WWE were smart, they would take this as an opportunity instead of trying to deny it. Because right now, Cena is getting the same kind of crowd reactions that Hulk Hogan was getting back in '96. And you guys remember what happened in the summer of '96, don't you? You fans can stick it, brother. Bash at the Beach. The heel turn heard round the world. And it completely rejuvenated Hulk Hogan's career because it opened him up to a whole new audience. And for the people who were sick and tired of the say your prayers and take your vitamins rhetoric, they finally were given a real reason to despise the guy. And that was the start of WCW's boom period, too. I mean, business picked up after Hogan turned heel. It didn't die down. And it's the same situation that we're in now with John Cena. More and more fans are turning against his character, and they obviously want him to turn heel, or at least, go back to being that anti-hero, that badass that got him over in the first place. But Vince McMahon doesn't want to do this. I don't know why, but maybe he thinks a heel turn would damage Cena's appeal to the little kids. But the thing is, the fans are already treating Cena like a heel, but for all the wrong reasons. The fans wanted Jeff Hardy to be the #1 babyface, but Vince didn't strike while the iron was hot, and now that opportunity's gone. Instead, it's back to Hardy being the mid-carder who's not believable as a top guy, and John Cena playing the babyface Boy Scout hero that most of the people can't stand. A much better way to go about this would have been to have Jeff beat Orton for the title at the Rumble, then have Cena turn heel on Jeff. That way you got a new top babyface that everybody loves, and a fresh top heel that everybody hates. All the bases are covered. But that possibility is gone now, and WWE really have nobody to blame for that but themselves. So that's it. I hope that clears things up for you guys. I'll be back soon, hopefully with the Impact ratings in my review of that show. So bye for now. See you hopefully soon. Bye.